Your phone lights up in bed at 12:43, and the message says, "I loved talking to you tonight." You read it once, then again, then stare at the period like it might be hiding a second meaning. Instead of feeling wanted, your chest tightens because some part of you is already waiting for the catch. Your thumb hovers over the reply box, but nothing feels safe enough to send. Healthy independence lets you enjoy closeness without losing your balance. This is different. This is your body treating warmth like a room where the door might lock behind you. The sweet part is not what scares you. The unpredictable part is. You are not analyzing the text. You are checking whether wanting something is about to cost you. So the real question is not why you overthink a text. It is what your mind learned about being loved before love ever felt safe. You come home from school with your backpack zipped, your lunchbox washed out, and your permission slip already signed on the counter. The fridge has groceries, your sneakers fit, and somebody remembered picture day. But nobody asks why you have been quiet since the car ride. So you walk to your room with everything you technically needed, carrying the ache of not being noticed. Your hand stays on the doorknob, like part of you is still waiting. This is the gap people miss. Provision can be real, and emotional contact can still be missing. A full fridge can live next to a loneliness nobody names. Your mind starts making a rule. Need less, and there is less to lose. That is not healthy independence. It is protection dressed up as maturity. Later, when someone is warm, your chest checks the room before it receives the care. And once your mind learns whether warmth comes back, it does not just remember the ache, it starts building a strategy for every reunion after that. At daycare drop-off, a toddler stands by the cubbies with one hand on a backpack strap, watching the door after their parent leaves. When the parent comes back, the toddler looks up from the blocks, checks the face, and waits to see if the arms open or the adult keeps moving. Some toddlers melt into the hug, some cry harder, and some turn back to the blocks like needing nothing is safer. That is why the reunion matters. The child is not just happy or upset, they are learning what closeness usually requires from them. If comfort returns cleanly, the body can reach and settle. If comfort returns unpredictably, reaching can feel like a gamble. If comfort returns with distance, the safest move may be to act untouched. In The Strange Situation, psychologist Mary D. Ainsworth from the University of Virginia found in 1978 that among 106 12-month-old infants placed through brief separation and reunion, secure infants used the caregiver as a secure base and calmed at reunion, while avoidant infants minimized contact and resistant infants stayed distressed or angry after the caregiver came back. The important part is not just who left, it is what the child had to do when love returned. So, watch the toddler's hand on the backpack strap. That tiny pause is a whole education. At 11:47 p.m., you reread a text thread in bed and notice they took 26 minutes to answer after usually taking 6. You type, delete, and rewrite one easy reply. Then the next morning, you open Slack and rewrite a simple work message 3 times so nobody thinks you are annoyed, needy, or difficult. By Sunday, you are in the family group chat saying, "No worries, I can handle it," because being the calm one has always felt safer than being the person who needs something. That is the part people miss. Anxiety is not always loud. Sometimes it looks organized. Sometimes it looks polite. Sometimes it looks like becoming so easy to love that nobody ever has a reason to pull away. One version of this is scanning. You watch the timing, the punctuation, the tiny shift in energy. Another version is performing. You edit your tone, shrink your needs, and try to become impossible to reject. In romantic love, conceptualized as an attachment process, published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, Psychologists Cindy Hazan from Cornell University and Philip R. Shaver from the University of Denver found in 1987 that among 620 adults, 56% described their romantic style as secure, 25% as avoidant, and 19% as anxious ambivalent. The avoidant adults reported fear of closeness. The anxious adults reported worrying that partners did not really love them. That finding explains why a delayed reply can feel bigger than a delayed reply. Your mind is not only reading the message, it is checking whether love is still real. So when you stare at the screen, you are not being dramatic. Your attention is working like a security camera pointed at the door. And when you rewrite the Slack message, that is not just professionalism. It is the same old bargain. If I sound calm enough, useful enough, low maintenance enough, maybe nobody will get tired of me. Maybe you recognize yourself here, or maybe not, and that is also a pattern. Because some people do not scan the door at all. But some people do not move toward closeness when love feels unsafe. They survive by shutting the door before anyone can leave. After a brutal day, you are standing in the kitchen with your work bag still on when someone says, "Do you want to talk about it?" Before you even feel your shoulders, you say, "I'm fine." Open the fridge and make your voice sound normal. They step closer, and instead of relief, your body gets busy planning how to end the conversation without looking rude. You stare at the leftovers like they require your full attention. This is where the wall gets misunderstood. From the outside, it can look calm, mature, even impressive. You do not make a scene. You do not ask for much. You handle your own stuff. But inside, something smaller is happening. Help arrives, and your first move is to reduce the size of your need before anyone can see it. That is different from independence. Healthy independence says, I can stand on my own, and I can still let someone care. This version says, if I need nothing, nobody gets the chance to disappoint me. Not needing anyone can be a shield, not proof you are untouched. It can become a private skill. You learn how to make your face neutral. You learn how to answer fast. You learn how to keep pain organized enough that no one has to come near it. And after a while, being unreachable starts to feel like self-respect. That is the dark twist. Sometimes you are not protecting your freedom. You are protecting the old embarrassment of having reached once and finding nobody there. So in that kitchen, the fridge door stays open too long. The cold air hits your legs. Someone is still waiting behind you with a soft question, and every part of you wants to say, please don't make me need you. Maybe you recognize yourself here, or maybe not, and that is also a pattern. Because the person who says, I'm fine, may be centered, or they may be disappearing in a way that looks clean, capable, and easy to praise. But the hard part is that from the outside, real independence and fear in a clean shirt can look exactly the same. Two people leave the same text unanswered all afternoon while their phones sit face down beside a laptop. One is working, steady enough to answer later without punishing anyone or testing anyone. The other keeps seeing the name, stomach-locked, calling it busyness, because wanting a reply once felt too exposed. From the outside, it looks like the same boundary. No double text, just a quiet screen and a convincing explanation. But the difference is inside the silence. Healthy space gives you enough air to return. Protective distance feels clean at first, then cold. Your eyes keep drifting to the screen, and pride starts sounding like peace. A boundary says, I am still here, and I need room. Disappearing says, if I do not answer, I do not have to find out whether I matter. One protects your energy. The other protects the old embarrassment of needing someone. So the clue is not how long you wait. It is what silence does to you while you are waiting. If space makes you clearer, it is probably space. If it makes you numb and watchful, something else is driving. Your finger touches the trackpad, then stops. Not because you have nothing to say, because saying anything would prove someone got close enough to matter. So the question is not, do I need space? It is, when I take space, am I resting or am I disappearing? After a kind conversation, you sit in your car outside your apartment with the engine off, replaying the part where they sounded steady and meant what they said. Your hand is still on the seatbelt, but your mind is already checking whether you feel relieved, obligated to be better, or weirdly alert for the moment their tone changes. You do not need a label here. You just need the honest answer to what your body does when love does not make you chase it. Maybe you soften, or perform, or scan for the bill. Maybe you disappear before anyone can ask for the real version of you. The old move can feel like personality because it has been useful for so long. You are not hard to love. You learn to love with one eye on the exit. The seatbelt presses your palm, the engine is quiet. So the private question is simple. When care gets steady, do you receive it, audition for it, inspect it, or leave it first? You look at the phone one more time, not because the message is confusing, but because your body still wants proof that kindness does not come with a turn. Maybe the first room that taught you love was a quiet bedroom, a tense kitchen, or a family group chat where you learned to read the temperature before you asked for anything. So now, when love shows up steady, your mind may still reach for the old map before it believes the room is different. That does not mean the pattern is permanent. It means your system learned closeness under unreliable lighting. I was not afraid of love. I was checking whether love had a trap door. You are not impossible to love. You learn to keep one hand near the exit. The phone is still in your hand. Your chest is still deciding. For once, the message may not be the problem. If this named your pattern, comment scanner, performer, or wall.